The Fairy of Fate. In the mystical realm of fairyland, a grand celebration was unfolding, causing ripples of excitement and wonder to dance through the enchanted forest. This extraordinary event was no ordinary festivity. It marked the time-honored tradition of appointing the future faters of the realm's magical seasons. Every young fairy who had yet to discover their destined role had gathered for the revelry, transforming the forest into a vibrant tapestry of diversity and enchantment. Among the attendees were the remarkable fairies, each possessing their own unique magical powers. Finn the fairy boy, with his silver hair that glistened like moonlight and eyes that twinkled with the brilliance of stars, Finn was the embodiment of curiosity and adventure. He hadn't discovered his powers yet, but he would have embraced any destiny with love, so he'd been dreaming of this long-awaited moment for a long time. Flora the plant fairy, dressed in a gown adorned with petals, Flora was the essence of spring. Her presence alone could coax flowers to burst into bloom, painting the meadows in vibrant hues. Her magical touch breathed life into the flora of fairyland, making her an indispensable guardian of the realm's natural beauty. Lyra the animal fairy, Lyra, with her feathery hair and bird-like wings, was the patroness of all creatures great and small. She possessed the extraordinary ability to converse with animals, bridging the gap between the fairy realm and the wild denizens of the forest. Her wisdom and guidance were sought after by those in need of nature's secrets. Solstice the season fairy, Solstice was an enigmatic figure, her aura shifting seamlessly between the warmth of summer and the chill of winter. Her eyes flickered like flames, and she could summon the longest days of summer or the deepest snows of winter with a mere gesture. She was the guardian of fairyland seasons, ensuring their harmonious flow. Nyx the darkness fairy, Nyx, shrouded in a cloak of shadows and crowned with twinkling stars, held dominion over the mysteries of the night. When she appeared, the moon bathed the land in its silvery glow, and dreams took flight. She was the keeper of the enchanting world that unfurled under the cover of darkness. These diverse fairies, with their array of magical talents and backgrounds, had come together on the special night to embrace their destinies. As the party continued, the anticipation grew, and the heart of fairyland beat with the rhythm of enchantment. Little did they know that the future they were about to embark upon would be filled with adventures, challenges, and the enduring magic of unity and diversity, ensuring that fairyland remained a realm of boundless wonder for generations to come. As the magical celebration in fairyland reached its crescendo, an air of anticipation hung heavy in the enchanted forest. The moment everyone had been waiting for was drawing near, the appearance of the Queen of the Fairies. She was a legendary figure, spoken of in hushed tones, whose arrival was marked by the emergence of countless fireflies, the most exquisite of all fairy creatures. Amidst the twinkling lights of the fireflies, the Queen of the Fairies materialized. Her ethereal presence radiated an aura of ancient wisdom and boundless power. With a wave of her graceful hand, she released the fireflies, each one glowing with a unique and mesmerizing hue. These fireflies, carrying the Queen like a magic carpet, danced through the night, creating a breathtaking display of luminescence that left all who beheld it in awe. The fireflies, guided by the Queen of the Fairies, flitted gracefully through the night air, seeking out the chosen fairies who were destined to pass through the portal to Earth. With delicate precision, they landed on the wings of these special fairies, bestowing upon them a shimmering, iridescent magic. This enchantment was the key that would allow them to traverse the portal between realms. As the night in Fairyland continued to unfold, the atmosphere was electrified with excitement and anticipation. The moment had come to choose the two juniors who would embark on the coveted Fates mission on Earth. The elders of Fairyland gathered in a circle, their faces bathed in the soft glow of the fireflies. After a solemn deliberation with the fireflies, they announced the names of the two chosen ones, Finn, the adventurous fairy boy, and Lyra, the spirited animal fairy. Their faces lit up with a mixture of astonishment and exhilaration as they realized they would undertake this prestigious mission. However, Nyx, the enigmatic darkness fairy, stood in the shadows, her eyes wide with shock and concern. Her voice, barely above a whisper, broke the silence of the night. "A boy," she murmured, her voice tinged with disbelief. "A boy has never been chosen for this role. He has no magical power, he is not prepared for this role." Nyx's unease reverberated through the gathering, and the other fairies exchanged curious glances. Tradition in Fairyland was as unchanging as the stars in the sky, and the selection of a boy for the Fates mission was an unprecedented event. Some fairies began to murmur in hushed tones, while others simply watched Finn and Lyra with a mixture of wonder and uncertainty. Finn, with his trademark curiosity, sensed the weight of this moment. He took a step forward, his silver wings reflecting the soft glow of the fireflies, and spoke with a determined voice. "I may be a boy, but I promise to honor this mission with all my heart and dedication. I will do my best to learn the secrets of the Fates and bring the magic of Fairyland to Earth." Lyra, by Finn's side, nodded in agreement. "We may be breaking tradition, but perhaps it's time for something new and extraordinary. Together, we can achieve great things for both realms." The Queen of the Fairies, who had been silently observing the proceedings, stepped forward with a gentle smile. She spoke with the wisdom of ages. "The magic of Fairyland is ever evolving, and sometimes it finds new paths and unexpected heroes. Finn and Lyra, you have been chosen for a reason. Embrace this opportunity, learn the secrets of the Fates, and let your hearts guide you on this remarkable journey." With the blessing of the Queen of the Fairies and the support of their fellow fairies, Finn and Lyra accepted their roles with grace and determination. With the roles of Finn and Lyra now confirmed, the preparations for their initiation into the Fates mission accelerated. Alongside them, two other fairy mentors, Isa and Faith, were chosen to guide the juniors. Time was of the essence, for in less than a week, they would venture through the portal to the land of real people, a place full of mystery and wonder. Finn and Lyra, along with their mentors, gathered beneath the towering canopy of Fairyland's ancient oak tree. The elders had arranged for a special initiation ceremony to pass on the wisdom of the Fates and prepare them for the challenges ahead. Under the shimmering moonlight, Isa, a wise and gentle fairy with a twinkle in her eye, spoke first. "In the world of humans, the Fates represent destiny, time, and the intricate threads of life," she began, her voice resonating with centuries of knowledge. "To embrace this mission, you must embody these qualities, for you will be tasked with guiding the destiny of Fairyland amidst the bustling world of real people. Faith, a fairy with a serene demeanor and an aura of wisdom, continued, "The fates will teach you the weaving of the threads of fate, the secrets of time, and the language of life's tapestry. You will learn to guide the destinies of individuals, tend to the threads of time, and protect the delicate balance of destiny." Finn and Lyra listened intently, their determination unwavering. They were ready to embrace this unique mission and the responsibilities that came with it. The next few days were a whirlwind of training, where they honed their abilities to understand the intricacies of destiny, harness the magic of time, and navigate the changing landscapes of the human world. Amidst the serious lessons, there were moments of levity and laughter. During one particularly amusing training session, as Finn tried to understand the nuances of a person's destiny, he ended up in a comical scenario, interpreting fortune cookies as cryptic messages from the fates and embarking on whimsical quests to fulfill their predictions. Lyra, in her training to understand the threads of time, discovered a penchant for spontaneous dance parties with local birds. Their rhythmic movements seemed to echo the dance of time itself, creating a lively and entertaining spectacle. Isa and Faith, witnessing these endearing moments, couldn't help but chuckle and join in the fun. They realized that while the mission was of utmost importance, there was room for joy and lightheartedness along the way. As the days flew by, the fairies felt a growing connection to the fates and the land of real people. They knew that they were on the cusp of a grand adventure, one that would test their newfound abilities and challenge their understanding of both the magical and human realms. Finally, the day of departure arrived. Under the guidance of Isa and Faith, Finn and Lyra, along with the other fairy initiates, approached the portal to the land of real people. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, they took their first steps into a world where their magic and mission would be put to the test. The enchantment of Fairyland would now travel alongside them, offering a bridge between the realms, and the hope that the wonders of their realm could be shared with the people of Earth. In the world of humans, fairies were invisible and mysterious, with the ability to be seen only when they truly wished to be noticed. Thus, in their first destination, Texas, they could fly unseen among people, observing and interacting with the human world in the most subtle ways. Fairy, a picturesque town in Texas, was named so due to the legends surrounding the frequent presence of fairies. Over time, this place had become a magical destination, where people felt that luck and happiness always accompanied them. This town gracefully blended the real world with the magical one, making it a unique and charming place. Legend has it that centuries ago, in the heart of what would become Texas, there thrived a hidden forest unlike any other. This forest was said to be a realm where the natural world and the supernatural converged, giving birth to extraordinary phenomena. It was rumored to be a place where the ethereal beings known as Fae or fairies dwelled. According to the legend, a brave explorer named Amelia Foster ventured deep into this enchanted forest in search of her lost love. She wandered through meadows of shimmering wildflowers and under canopies of ancient oaks, all while being guided by the soft glow of fireflies that danced like stars in the twilight. One moonlit night, as Amelia rested beneath a tree, she was visited by a group of luminous fairies who sensed the purity of her heart and the depth of her love. These fairies, led by a graceful and wise figure named Selene, offered their assistance in Amelia's quest to find her beloved. With their magical abilities, the fairies helped Amelia navigate through the forest, uncovering hidden paths and unlocking the secrets of nature. Together, they embarked on a journey filled with mystical encounters, encountering talking animals, vibrant spirits of the seasons, and even the guardian of time itself. After months of searching, Amelia was reunited with her love in a place where time seemed to stand still, a serene glen bathed in the soft light of the moon. Overjoyed and grateful, she made a promise to the fairies that had guided her. In honor of this extraordinary adventure, Amelia decided to establish a settlement at the edge of the enchanted forest, and she named it Fairy, Texas, as a tribute to the mystical beings who had helped her find love. Over time, the town grew and prospered, always with a touch of enchantment in the air. It became known as a place where dreams came true and where the extraordinary was simply a part of everyday life. And so, the legend of Amelia Foster and the Fairies of Fairy, Texas, was passed down through generations, and the town became a beacon of wonder and magic, drawing travelers from all corners of the world who sought to experience the enchantment of the place where love had been found amidst the fairies' blessings. As Finn and Lyra stepped through the portal and arrived in the bustling city of Fairy, Texas, they were absolutely captivated by everything they saw. The modern world was a fascinating wonderland filled with marvels they had never encountered before: cars, trains, planes, and a plethora of technology. Finn's eyes grew wide as he pointed at a passing car. "Lyra, look at that! It's like a metal beetle with wheels. How does it move so fast?" Lyra, equally amazed, chuckled. "I have no idea, Finn. But it's certainly a peculiar creature of the human world. I wonder if they have any magical beings inside those boxes." They continued to stroll through the city, their senses bombarded by the sights and sounds of human technology. At one point, they approached a bustling train station, and Finn couldn't contain his excitement. "Finn," Lyra whispered, "is that a giant, metal serpent? It seems to swallow people and then spit them out at their destination." Finn laughed heartily. "Lyra, you're right. It's like a magical creature from one of our bedtime stories, but with a more practical purpose." As they marveled at an airplane soaring overhead, Lyra turned to Finn with a mischievous grin. "I wonder if we could hitch a ride on one of those. It would be the fastest way to explore the world, don't you think?" Finn's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Lyra, that's a brilliant idea. But how do we ask for a ride? Should we just wave our wings?" Lyra giggled. "I think we might need to learn more about human customs first, especially when it comes to flying on those metal birds." Their enchanting adventure in the human world continued, with each new discovery leaving Finn and Lyra in awe. They couldn't wait to learn more about the magic of technology and share their own enchantment from Fairyland with the people they encountered. As Finn roamed the enchanting city of Fairy, Texas, his curiosity about the modern world got the better of him. He couldn't resist approaching a young child engrossed in something on his tablet. As he drew closer, the child looked up in amazement, admiring Finn's colorful and elaborate costume. "Wow, you look amazing," the child exclaimed, thinking Finn was dressed for a fancy party. Finn, inquisitive and eager to learn, leaned in closer to see what had captured the child's attention. He peered at the tablet screen, which displayed a vibrant and magical world filled with fantastical creatures and spellbinding battles. "Is this a magic mirror?" Finn asked, believing it to be a portal to another realm. The child chuckled and replied, "Nah, it's not a mirror. It's a game called Magical Battles. You can create your own wizard, cast spells, and have epic battles with other wizards." Finn's eyes gleamed with wonder as he absorbed this new information. "Magical battles, you say? How does it work? Can you teach me the secrets of this game?" The child eagerly began explaining the intricacies of the game, detailing how to cast spells, perform magical maneuvers, and strategize to win battles. Finn was captivated by the concept of this magical world within the tablet. As Finn immersed himself in the world of the magical game with Johnny, he was suddenly interrupted by a gentle but firm tug on his arm. It was his mentor, Faith, who, being invisible, had playfully decided to pull Finn closer. "Come with me, Finn," Faith whispered urgently, her voice tinged with mischief. "We have some very important matters to attend to." Finn, caught off guard, obeyed the invisible force, moving his body in a peculiar and exaggerated manner as if he were being pulled by an invisible rope. His dance-like movements left Johnny utterly speechless, his eyes wide with astonishment. Faith continued to lead Finn in this whimsical display of pretend resistance, twirling him around and making him take exaggerated steps as if they were caught in an invisible whirlwind. Finally, with a mischievous grin, Faith let go of Finn, and he stopped his comical dance. Johnny, still in awe of the strange performance, finally found his words. "Wow, that was incredible! How did you do that? Can you teach me those movements?" Finn, trying to suppress a laugh, replied, "Well, those are secret fairy moves, Johnny. But I'll tell you what, I'll teach you some of them if you share with me the secrets of how to win in your Magical Battles game." Johnny's eyes lit up with excitement. "Deal! I'll show you some cool tricks, and you'll teach me those amazing fairy moves." As Finn and Johnny were engaged in their amusing exchange of secrets and fairy moves, a sudden, stern voice interrupted their playful banter. It was Faith, Finn's mentor, who had unintentionally become visible due to her mounting frustration. "Finn, you've gone completely mad!" Faith exclaimed with exasperation, her voice revealing her anger. She quickly changed her tone, adopting a more serious demeanor. "We need to return home, Finn." Finn, momentarily taken aback by Faith's outburst, replied, "Home? But we don't have a home here." Johnny, sensing a sudden shift in the atmosphere, misunderstood the situation and, fearing that his new friend was in danger, panicked. He began shouting loudly for his parents, believing that someone was attempting to kidnap Finn. "Help! Help! Someone's trying to kidnap my friend!" Johnny screamed, his voice echoing through the park. Within moments, Johnny's alarmed cries reached the ears of his parents, who rushed to the scene to find their son in distress. He explained the situation, recounting how he had met Finn, his friend, and how now someone was trying to take him away. Scared by the unexpected turn of events and Johnny's alarm, the three fairies, Isa, Lyra, and Faith, found themselves hastily retreating to the safety of invisibility. They watched from the shadows as Johnny's parents approached, their hearts pounding with a mix of curiosity and concern. Johnny's parents, initially worried about the commotion, were soon charmed by Finn's friendly demeanor and captivating presence. They listened with fascination as Johnny explained how he had met Finn and how they had become fast friends. Seeing how delighted their son was with his newfound friend, Johnny's parents extended a warm invitation to Finn. "Why don't you join us for dinner, Finn? We'd love to get to know you better," they offered. Finn, thrilled by the invitation, readily accepted. As they made their way to Johnny's home, he marveled at the human world and the sense of camaraderie he had found. Over a delicious meal, Finn regaled Johnny's family with tales of his adventures in Fairyland, always careful to keep the magical aspects of his world a secret. He spoke of his preparations for a real fairy role, leading Johnny's parents to believe that he was a talented young actor. Johnny's parents were thoroughly impressed, believing that Finn's passion and enthusiasm for his role were endearing and admirable. They encouraged him to pursue his dreams, making Finn feel even more welcome and appreciated. As they watched Johnny's blossoming friendship with Finn, they couldn't help but notice the positive change in their son. They believed that Johnny hadn't been this happy in a long time, and he hadn't had such a suitable friend who shared his sense of wonder and adventure. It was a heartwarming transformation, and they were grateful to Finn for bringing so much joy into their family's life. Johnny's parents, to Johnny's joy, extended an invitation to Finn to stay with them for a few days. They believed that Finn's presence had brought newfound happiness into their son's life. However, they wanted Finn to confirm his stay with his own parents first. Finn agreed and asked Johnny to borrow his phone. With a mischievous smile, Finn began pressing the buttons on the phone, mimicking the game Johnny had been playing on his tablet. As he pressed the keys, he spoke aloud, "Dear parents, I'm getting ready for the role with Johnny, my friend. Don't worry, you can find me here." Johnny giggled at Finn's playful approach, knowing that his parents would surely understand the message. When Johnny took the phone back from Finn, he couldn't help but chuckle. However, as he examined the phone screen, he noticed that Finn hadn't actually dialed any phone number. Instead, Finn had playfully pressed various numbers, pretending to keep the secret of their stay from his parents. Johnny's eyes widened with amusement as he realized what Finn had done. He whispered to Finn, "You cheeky fellow, you didn't call anyone. You just pressed random numbers." With a sly grin, Finn replied, "Well, we wouldn't want your parents to spill the beans, right? It's our little secret." The two friends shared a knowing laugh, relishing in their playful and adventurous spirit as they continued to create cherished memories together during Finn's stay with Johnny's family. As the fairies, Lyra and Faith, hurriedly left Johnny's home to attend to their first mission, they assured Finn that they would return for him later, promising not to keep him waiting for too long. With a quick farewell, they took to the sky and soared away from the human world. Their mission was pressing, and they needed to ensure the magic of Fairyland remained in balance. As they flew onward, they followed the trail of magic dust that had been left behind by their fairy predecessors. The shimmering dust guided their way and led them toward the source of the magical disturbance they were tasked with addressing. But just as they were about to embark on the next stage of their journey, a peculiar thing happened. The magic dust, seemingly with a mind of its own, veered off course and redirected them. It swirled and twirled, leading Lyra and Faith in an unexpected direction. Confused but trusting in the guidance of the magic dust, they followed its trail, which led them straight back to Johnny's house. They arrived there in a matter of minutes, landing gently in the garden. Lyra and Faith exchanged puzzled glances, realizing that the magic dust had brought them right back to Finn and Johnny. It seemed that fate had other plans, and perhaps the bond of friendship they had formed with Johnny was an important part of their mission after all. Amidst the magical disturbances centered around Johnny's house, unbeknownst to Finn, Lyra, and Faith, a shadowy figure was observing the situation with ill intentions. It was Nyx, the night fairy, who had long harbored a deep desire to visit Earth in Finn's place. Her envy and resentment towards Finn had grown over time, and now she saw an opportunity to eliminate him from the mission and take his place. Driven by her dark intentions, Nyx forcefully commanded the fireflies to let her reach the ground. Without a moment's hesitation, she began to craft a sinister plan to eliminate Finn, unaware of the consequences her actions would have on their mission and the lives they were meant to touch on Earth. Nyx's first step was to subtly influence Johnny's dreams, filling them with unsettling visions and worries, causing him to become increasingly anxious during the day. She planted seeds of doubt and suspicion among Johnny's parents, making them question the safety of their new friendship with Finn. As hours passed, Nyx's dark influence began to take hold. Arguments and misunderstandings plagued Johnny's family, and the once happy atmosphere in the household started to crumble. Johnny's parents, under Nyx's manipulation, began to believe that the magical disturbances in their home were Finn's fault. Nyx's ultimate goal was to drive a wedge between Johnny and Finn, isolating the young boy from his newfound friend. She knew that if she could convince Johnny's family that Finn was the cause of their troubles, they would forbid Johnny from seeing him again, effectively removing Finn from the mission. With each passing hour, Nyx's sinister plans grew more elaborate, and the harmony of Johnny's family life hung by a thread. Little did anyone suspect the true source of the turmoil that had descended upon their home, a night fairy with a vendetta, determined to seize her chance to travel to Earth at Finn's expense. Despite Nyx's insidious efforts to create discord within Johnny's family, Finn, Lyra, and Faith couldn't find any obvious signs of what was causing the magical disturbances. As they continued to observe Johnny's home, they couldn't ignore the genuine friendship that had blossomed between Finn and Johnny. Lyra, feeling uneasy about the situation, finally spoke up. "I don't like what's happening here, but we can't find any concrete evidence of the source of the disturbance. Finn, it might be best if you stay close to Johnny to make sure he's safe while Lyra and I get some rest." Finn, sensing the responsibility of their mission and the bond he had formed with Johnny, nodded in agreement. "I'll watch over Johnny, and we'll figure this out together. Don't worry, we'll make sure he's safe." With that, Lyra and Faith left Finn to keep a vigilant eye on Johnny's household while they retreated to a quiet spot in the garden, concealing themselves in the shadows to rest and regain their magical strength. In the dead of night, Johnny, still under the influence of Nyx's dark dreams, awoke with a blood-curdling scream. His sudden outburst jolted Finn awake from his peaceful slumber. He had been sleeping on a small mattress near Johnny's bed, ever the diligent guardian of his newfound friend. As Finn stirred, Johnny's parents rushed into the room, panic in their eyes. They were deeply alarmed by Johnny's frantic cries and disoriented state. Finn, still groggy from sleep, tried to calm the situation and understand what had happened. Johnny, trembling and teary-eyed, pointed at Finn, his voice trembling with fear. "It was him. He's guilty." "I saw everything clearly," Johnny confessed with a quivering voice, tears streaming down his cheeks. "He confessed everything to me." His revelation sent shockwaves through the room, leaving everyone in disbelief and Finn in a state of utter confusion and despair. Finn's heart sank as he realized that Johnny's dreams, manipulated, had now turned the young boy against him. Before Finn could explain, Johnny's parents grabbed him firmly, their faces twisted with anger and betrayal. "You!" Johnny's father exclaimed, his voice trembling with anger. "We trusted you, Finn. But now, you've done something terrible. We're calling the police." Johnny's mother, her eyes filled with disappointment, added, "You helped kidnap Johnny's sister, and now you're going to kidnap Johnny too? How could you?" Finn, stunned and hurt by the accusations, tried desperately to explain his innocence. "No, please. I would never do such a thing. It's a terrible misunderstanding. I've been here to protect Johnny, not harm him." But in the midst of the chaos and confusion, Johnny's parents were too overwhelmed by fear and suspicion to listen. They reached for the phone, determined to involve the authorities and protect their son from what they believed to be a grave threat. As the police arrived at Johnny's home and arrested Finn, the situation took an even more dire turn. Finn was taken away to the police station, all the while insisting on his innocence, but the evidence, as twisted as it was, seemed stacked against him. Inside the police station, Finn faced the daunting process of fingerprinting and being processed into the system. However, this proved to be a unique challenge given his magical disguise. The fairy suit, which had served as his protective armor, presented a formidable obstacle. The officers, perplexed and suspicious, attempted to remove the suit to access Finn's real identity for fingerprinting. But each attempt was met with frustration, as the suit seemed to resist their efforts, almost as if it were alive. Meanwhile, Lyra and Faith, watching helplessly from the shadows, knew they had to intervene before things spiraled completely out of control. With a heavy heart, Lyra and Faith departed from the police station, leaving Finn to endure the unsettling situation for a few more hours. They knew that the lessons learned during this unexpected ordeal would be valuable for all of them. As the day turned to evening, the police officers, still unable to remove Finn from his magical suit, decided to leave him in their custody until someone with specialized expertise could deal with the unique situation. Finn, though relieved to no longer be under the scrutiny of the police, found himself in an uncomfortable and bewildering predicament. He sat in the station, his magical costume still firmly in place, waiting for the arrival of someone who could help him. As Finn found himself in the prison, dressed in his fairy suit, he became the source of amusement for many of the inmates. Laughter and jests filled the air as they pointed and teased him, not understanding the true nature of his presence or his magical abilities. Among the prisoners, a group approached Finn with sly grins on their faces. One of them, a wiry man with a mischievous glint in his eye, spoke up, "Hey there, fairy boy. Won't you help me fly away from here too?" Finn, always eager to help, didn't quite grasp the irony of the request. With genuine goodwill, he extended his arms toward the prisoner, ready to assist him in flying away from their confinement. But before the prisoner could react, another inmate, a burly and protective figure known as Dark, misinterpreted Finn's intentions. Dark reacted swiftly, throwing a punch in Finn's direction, believing he was protecting his boss. The blow landed, and Finn, taken by surprise, staggered backward, his wings fluttering in pain and shock. The situation in the prison became even more chaotic as other inmates joined the fray, taking sides based on their own interpretations of the events unfolding before them. In the prison infirmary, Finn nursed his bruises and contemplated the series of unfortunate events that had led him to this place. The fight had left him shaken, but he remained determined to protect Johnny and bridge the worlds of fairies and humans. Suddenly, the infirmary door swung open, and a figure entered. It was Lino, a close friend of Dark and a member of the same gang. He had been on a mission to confront Finn, believing that he was a threat to Dark and their criminal enterprise. However, something had changed. Lino approached Finn cautiously, his expression a mix of uncertainty and curiosity. "I came here to finish what Dark started," he began, his voice low and filled with suspicion. "But now, I'm not so sure." Finn, still in pain from the earlier altercation, looked up at Lino with a mixture of hope and caution. "What do you mean? Why the change of heart?" During a light-hearted conversation, Lino confessed, "Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the movie Tooth Fairy. I've got the action figures, posters, and even the collector's edition DVD." Finn couldn't help but grin, realizing the opportunity for a playful jest. "You know," he continued, "in that movie, the characters always work together and overcome challenges with kindness and teamwork. I can't help but think you're a lot like those characters." Lino, now fully embracing the humor of the moment, burst into laughter. "You've got a point there, Finn. I guess I can't harm a fellow fan of that movie, can I? We're definitely on the same team." Lino sighed and sat down beside Finn. He explained, "I overheard Dark and some of the gang members talking about the kidnapping of Johnny's sister. They were involved in it, Finn. They took her." Finn's eyes widened in shock and anger. "They kidnapped Johnny's sister? But why? That's unforgivable." Lino nodded, his guilt and remorse evident. "I didn't know about it at first, but when I heard them discussing it, I couldn't believe it myself. I've been a part of Dark's gang for a long time, and I've done some bad things, but this is different. Johnny's sister is innocent." Realizing that Lino might be their key to uncovering the truth and helping Johnny's family, Finn urged him to share all the information he had about the kidnapping. Lino complied, providing details about the gang's involvement, the circumstances surrounding the abduction, and any potential leads that might help locate Johnny's missing sister. It became clear that, despite their earlier confrontation, Lino had begun to believe in Finn's innocence and had chosen to align himself with the pursuit of justice. As Finn and Lino continued to discuss their plan to uncover the truth behind Johnny's sister's kidnapping, a sudden burst of magic filled the air. The three fairies, Isa, Lyra, and Faith, appeared and materialized before their astonished eyes. Lino's jaw dropped as he watched the fairies materialize from thin air, his eyes widening with disbelief. He stammered, Are you all seeing this?" Finn, seizing the moment, turned to his fellow fairies and made a request. "Lyra, Faith, Isa, we need to get out of here to help find Johnny's sister, Elisa. Lino can help us with valuable information. Can you make us invisible and lead us outside?" Lyra and Faith nodded in agreement and began to sprinkle their magic dust, which shimmered in the air, surrounding Finn, Lino, and themselves. With a flick of their wings, they cast a spell, rendering the group invisible to the human eye. Lino, now surrounded by invisible fairies, couldn't believe his eyes, or lack thereof. He waved his hands through the empty air, feeling a strange sensation. This is insane. Where did you all go?" Finn couldn't help but chuckle at Lino's bewildered reaction, his voice coming from an unseen presence. "Don't worry, Lino. We're right here with you. Let's find the truth about Elisa together." With Lino in tow, they quietly made their way out of the prison, their invisible presence causing quite a stir among the bewildered inmates and guards who witnessed objects moving seemingly on their own. The spectacle of their exit left everyone in the prison both amazed and mystified. The group had arrived at the abandoned warehouse, their invisible presence shrouded in secrecy as they sought to uncover the whereabouts of Johnny's missing sister, Elisa. However, their path was blocked by a formidable obstacle, 10 fierce and imposing guard dogs stationed around the scrapyard. Lyra, known for her gentle and persuasive nature, decided to take the lead. She began to approach the pack of dogs with a confident stride, her invisible form creating ripples of confusion among the canine sentinels. However, just as she drew closer, Lino, not wanting to take any chances, jumped in front of her, ready to protect her from any harm. One of the dogs, sensing the presence of intruders but unable to see them, leaped at Lyra's invisible form, jaws snapping in a vicious attempt to bite her. In that moment, Lyra decided to take an unusual approach. She began to speak to the dogs in a soft, reassuring tone, her words laced with magic and humor. "Hey there, good boys. How about we play a little game?" Lyra suggested, her voice filled with mischief. Confused and intrigued by this invisible voice, the dogs hesitated for a moment. But then, in an unexpected turn of events, Lyra commanded, "Okay, everyone, let's jump on Lino and give him lots of kisses." Lino, eyes squeezed shut in fear, had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, he felt a barrage of wet, slobbery kisses raining down upon him from all directions. The dogs, obedient to Lyra's whimsical command, couldn't resist the opportunity to shower Lino with affection. With each playful lick and joyful bark, Lino's fear began to transform into laughter. He couldn't help but burst into uncontrollable giggles amidst the canine onslaught. It was a hilarious and heartwarming sight, as the once fierce guard dogs turned into a pack of loving and exuberant pups, completely won over by Lyra's magic and charm. As the dogs continued to lavish Lino with affection, the fairies and their newfound friend shared a moment of lightheartedness in the midst of their mission. As the transformed, affectionate guard dogs led the group toward the basement of the abandoned warehouse, the tension grew palpable. With each step, the fairies and Lino were determined to uncover the truth behind Elisa's disappearance and the presence of the 10 girls. When they reached the basement door, Lyra turned to the dogs and gently asked, "Can you show us where Elisa and the other girls are?" The dogs responded with a series of excited barks and bounded toward the door, eager to assist their newfound friends. Upon opening the basement door, a chilling scene unfolded before them. In a dimly lit room, 10 girls, likely victims of the kidnappers, were locked up, their faces reflecting both fear and hope as they saw the unexpected rescuers. Finn, Lyra, Faith, and Lino acted swiftly, using their combined magical abilities to free the girls from their captivity. As the girls began to move toward the basement stairs, ready to escape to safety, an unforeseen development occurred. The kidnappers, alerted by the commotion, arrived at the basement door, their faces twisted with anger and determination. Just as the fairies and Lino were about to defend themselves, the older fairies, Isa and Faith, took charge. Nyx, the enigmatic darkness fairy, materialized with a sinister purpose. She had been watching from the shadows, harboring a deep resentment towards Finn, and now she saw an opportunity to disrupt their mission. With a wave of her shadowy hand, Nyx granted the kidnappers increased powers hidden within the darkness. As the dark magic took hold, the kidnappers underwent a transformation. Their movements became swifter and more agile, bordering on inhuman. Their eyes glinted with newfound power, and their abilities surpassed what any ordinary human could achieve. With their enhanced speed and strength, they posed a formidable threat, and the situation took a dangerous turn for our heroes. But Isa, with a flourish of their wings and a powerful incantation, they summoned a dazzling display of magic that enveloped the kidnappers. In an instant, the tables turned as the kidnappers found themselves locked inside the basement, their cries of confusion and desperation echoing through the room. Isa and Faith's magic had worked spectacularly, creating a magical barrier that prevented the kidnappers from escaping. The roles had reversed, and the once captors had become captives themselves. As Nyx attempted to blend into the shadows, thinking she had successfully eluded detection, she hadn't accounted for the keen senses of the fierce Rottweiler dogs. Their powerful noses and sharp instincts led them straight to her hiding place in the bushes. With low growls and menacing barks, the Rottweilers surrounded the area, effectively forcing Nyx to come out into the light and face the fairies. They were not about to let anyone, even a fairy, evade their watchful gaze. Reluctantly, Nyx emerged from the bushes, her enigmatic presence now exposed to the illumination of the moonlight. She stood before the fairies, her eyes filled with a mix of defiance and apprehension, knowing that she would have to confront the consequences of her actions. Isa and Faith, their expressions a mix of shock and disappointment, confronted Nyx and demanded an explanation for her actions. They made it clear that her interference had jeopardized their mission and the safety of the girls they had come to rescue. With stern voices, they announced that Nyx would face consequences for her recklessness until she realized the harm she had caused. Nyx, however, attempted to downplay the severity of the situation. She argued that nothing serious had happened and that she believed her actions had ultimately been for the greater good. She couldn't understand why they weren't convinced of her perspective. In response, the fairies exchanged incredulous glances and shared a knowing look. Isa, with a wry smile, said to Nyx, "My dear, even these dogs were not convinced of your intentions, and you see how intelligent they are. Do you truly believe us to be more foolish than them?" Faith added, "Sometimes, Nyx, we must acknowledge when our actions have strayed from the path of light and admit our mistakes. It is through humility and self-reflection that we can grow and become better fairies." Nyx, realizing the gravity of her actions and the wisdom of her companions, lowered her gaze and nodded in reluctant agreement, knowing that she would need to make amends for her misguided choices. The girls, now free and safe, watched in amazement as the fairies and Lino had turned the tables on the kidnappers with their extraordinary powers. It was a moment of triumph and justice, showcasing the true magic of friendship, courage, and determination. With the kidnappers securely locked away, the fairies and their human friend Lino made sure the girls were escorted to safety, knowing that they had made a significant difference in their lives. When Elisa returned home, her safe arrival filled Johnny's family with overwhelming relief and joy. They embraced her tightly, thankful for the rescue mission that had brought her back to them. The 10 girls who had been rescued also returned to their families, and the community celebrated the reunion of loved ones. As the days passed, Johnny, Elisa, and their parents wanted to express their gratitude to Finn and the fairies for their invaluable assistance in bringing Elisa home safely. They decided to visit the spot where they had last seen Finn, hoping to extend their heartfelt thanks. However, when they arrived at the designated location, they were met with a sky devoid of fairies. Finn and his companions had already embarked on another mission, their commitment to bridging the worlds of fairies and humans leading them to new adventures and challenges. Though they couldn't convey their gratitude in person, Johnny's family and Elisa knew that the fairies were out there, continuing their noble work of protecting and helping those in need. They carried with them the memory of the extraordinary beings who had touched their lives and made the world a better place. With a sense of wonder and gratitude, Johnny, Elisa, and their family vowed to pay it forward, spreading kindness and assistance to others in need, inspired by the magical encounters they had experienced. And as they gazed at the open sky, they knew that the bond between their world and the realm of fairies would forever remain strong, ready to be rekindled whenever the need for magic and friendship arose once more.